Okay, hello everyone. Ang topic natin ngayon, very interesting. We will talk about false memory. Mga memorya na hindi totoo sa Tagalog. As always, before that, basa muna tayo ng mga biblical passages connected sa false memory. Proverbs 14:12, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, it's the way of death. Kaya ingat kayo sa mga pinaniniwalaan yung tama, ano? Sabi sa Proverbs. And then Judges, after that, the whole generation, they're talking about the Israelite generation, had also been gathered to their fathers. Another generation rose up who did not know the Lord or the works that He had done for Israel. And then, punta tayo sa Isaiah, but you have forgotten the Lord, your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth. You live in terror all day long because of the fury of the oppressor who is bent on destruction. But where is the fury of the oppressor? So itong tatlong passages na to, i-connect natin lahat yan sa konsepto ng false memory. Para sa mga psych majors na nakikinig, I'm sure this is not the first time you have encountered false memory. Madalas pinag-uusapan yan sa CogPsych. Laging merong chapter sa CogPsych na pinag-aaralan natin kung bakit ba nagkakaroon ng false memory. So ano ba yung false memory? Ito yung definition ng APA, which tells you this is a legitimate concept. Hindi ito gawa-gawa lang, ha? Talagang ang tao may tendency na magkaroon ng false memory. So i-zoom in natin. You can just pause the video if you like. Yan ang definition ng false memory. I just like to highlight the words distorted recollection. Sa simpleng Tagalog, meron kang naaalala pero yung naaalala mo hindi totoo. Kaya nga siya false memory. So meron talagang true memory. Meron talagang nangyari pero hindi yun yung naaalala mo. So pag nangyari sa iyo yun, nakaka-experience ka ng false memory. Okay? So iba't ibang klase ng false memory. Ito yung tatlo na basic forms of false memory. May naalala ka pero mali. Yan. I want you to recall your life. Nangyari na ba sa yan? May naalala ka pero mali. Or may naalala ka pero hindi nangyari. Or naalala mo na walang nangyari pero may nangyari talaga. Yan, lahat yan. Any one of these three can be considered false memory. Para mas specific, bigay ako ng mga examples. Halimbawa, doon sa may naalala ka pero mali, very common experience sa mga parking lots. Sino dito may ganyang experience, mag-respond dyan sa comment section. Yung nag-park ka sa third floor, tapos pumasok ka na sa SM, nag-shopping ka na doon, namili ka na ng damit, kumain ka na ng sisig, bumili ka ng sapatos, and then pagbalik mo doon sa parking spot mo, wala na yung kotse mo, nataranta ka. Tumawag ka kaagad ng gwardya, ayan, nagsisigaw-sigaw ka doon, only to find out na yung kotse mo nandoon pala sa mas mataas na floor. Hindi mo pala pinark sa third floor, pinark mo talaga sa fourth floor. So nagkaroon ka ng false memory. Right? So it's a very common experience. Or how about this one? May naalala ka pero hindi nangyari. Nangyari na ba sa inyo yan? Recall a moment in your life na nangyari yan. For example, may sinabihan ka, may kausap ka, sabi mo sa kanya, di ba last week kumain ka dito? Naalala ko last week eh. At this very moment, nandito ka. Kumain ka ng niluto kong adobo, pinagtimpla kita ng iced tea, tapos kumain tayo ng mangga. Tapos 'di ba nag-usap pa tayo tungkol sa pagpasok mo sa PhD? 'Di ba tawa ka pa nga ng tawa, so on and so forth. 'Yun. Pero only to find out later on, kinorek ka ng mga tao sa paligid mo, hindi pala talaga nangyari 'yun. 'Yun yung ibig sabihin ng may naalala ka pero hindi nangyari. Never pala nangyari yung naalala mo. False memory ang tawag doon. Or for example, ito, naalala mo walang nangyari, pero may nangyari talaga. So ito baliktad. So yung naalala mo hindi nangyari, pero nangyari talaga. Halimbawa, tungkol sa kotse. Di ba? Hindi mo naalala na may hiniram kang kotse. Pero sa totoo lang, meron kang hiniram. Di ba? Gets mo? So ang naalala mo, wala akong hinihiram na kotse sa'yo. Pero sa totoo lang, meron yan. So, hinihingi na yung kotse sa'yo kasi nga hiniram mo pero wala kang maalala na may hiniram ka. Yun, false memory ang tawag doon. Or, for example, pagdating sa utang, ito, very common to eh. Hindi mo naalalang may utang ka kahit sa totoo may utang ka. Sino nakaka-relate? Ilagay yung pangalan dyan. Joke lang. Pero I'm sure common yan, no? Nakakalimot ka sa utang mo kasi nung nire-recall mo, hindi ka naman umutang. Pero ang reality, 10 tao ang pinagkakautangan mo. Yon, false memory ang tawag doon. So, sino may kakilala dyan na ganyan ang false memory, ilagay dyan sa comment section. Joke lang ha. But anyway, I hope you got what false memory means based on these 3 examples. Now, in the literature, if you read the researches on false memory, madalas nyong makikita yung pangalan ni Elizabeth Loftus. She is one of the authorities in false memory. Sabi ko dito, one of the ha. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang siya. Marami sila na nag-aaral on false memory. Okay? Sabi nga niya, may quotable quote siya about false memory. The most horrifying idea is that when we believe with all our hearts is not necessarily the truth. I agree. Paniwalang paniwala ka sa isang memory, talagang nangyari yon, talagang yung pananampalataya mo nandun, pinaglalaban mo yung naaalala mo na yon, only to find out later on, mali. It's not necessarily the truth. Nakakatakot talaga yon, no? Na yung mga bagay na talagang pinanghahawakan nating totoo. Totoong mahal ka niya. Totoong wala kang utang. Totoong magaling ka sa trabaho mo. Totoong narinig mo ipopromote ka. Lahat ng yon hindi pala totoo. Kaya nakakatakot ang false memory, kaya ginawan ko to ng lecture para matutunan natin how to avoid having false memories. Kaya ako binasa yung sa Proverbs kanina because we can relate this to false memory. Sabi, 'di ba, there is a way that seems right to a man but in the end is the way of death. Ang tanong, bakit seems right? Bakit seems right? Bakit ang feeling niya tama yung naalala niya? Kasi nabiktima na siya ng false memory. So you can understand Proverbs 14:12 in the context of false memory. One of the reasons kaya sure ka na tama yung gagawin mo kasi yung naaalala mo gives you the confidence na tama yung naaalala mo pero sa totoo lang, mali. Kaya sarap itabi nito sa quotable quote ni Loftus Kumbaga ito yung more modern expression of Proverbs 14:12 na ang idea is we can be mistaken on what we remember. Let me repeat again what Loftus said. The most horrifying idea is what we believe with all our hearts. Yung mga all caps na yan, believe with all our hearts, yan yung seems right dito. It's not necessarily the truth. Yun yung way of death dito. At again, nakakatakot yan, kaya dapat talaga natin maintindihan bakit ba nagkaka-false memory at paano ba labanan yung false memory. Okay, now, let's talk about some false memory experiments done in the field para mas maintindihan nyo na talagang totoo nga ang false memory. When you read experiments on false memory, ang madalas nilang ginagawa is sinasadya nila na magkaroon ng false memory yung mga participants. Pinag-aaralan nila kung paano mapapaalala ng false memory ang isang tao. Or in English, para sa mga hindi nakakaintindi ng Tagalog dito kasi lumaki siya sa Alabama, or lumaki siya sa New York, or lumaki siya sa Connecticut. Ito yung English niyan. How do you lead someone to remember something that is false? Because again, that's possible. They were able to identify certain ways para talagang yung taong kausap mo, ma-push mo siya na makaalala ng false memory. How is that done in the laboratory? Imagine you are one of the participants in these studies, papaupuin ka, and then may ipapanood sa yung short clip. Imagine nyo, ito yung short clip. Wait lang ha. Yan, ito yung short clip. May dalawang kotse na pag plinay yung short clip, nagbanggaan yung kotse. Yan yung nagbanggaan na kotse. Alam ko naman, bilib na bilib kayo sa editing skills ko. Para sa mga kukuha sa akin dyan sa editing skills ko, kontakin nyo na lang ako through my email. Alright? Alam kong na-impress kayo, no? Sobrang sophisticated ng editing skills ko. So anyway, going back, may dalawang kotse na banggaan, yun, smack! And then that's it. And then after the person watches this video, kakausapin na siya ng experimenter, may mga itatanong na details tungkol sa video na napanood niya. Okay? Now, in these experiments, merong 5 conditions. Ilan? 5. So, in the terminology of experimental psychology, magkakaroon to ng 5 levels or 5 different groups. Okay? Although they have watched, lahat sila nakapanood ng isang video, ito lang yon, pero 5 grupo sila mahahati. Na ano pinagkaiba ng 5 grupo dito? The way they will be asked a question will be different. Okay? Like for example, dito sa first group, ang word na ginamit in asking a question about the video was this: how fast were the cars when they smashed into each other? Yung word na ginamit is, altogether read, smashed. Doon sa pangalawang grupo, how fast were the cars when they, what's the word? Collided each other. Sa pangatlong grupo, ang ginamit na word is bump. Sa pang-apat is hit. Sa pang-5 is contacted. So as you notice, yung mga words dito mula pinakamalakas papuntang pinakamahina. Siyempre, sobrang lakas ng smash, pinakamahina ang contacted. So they would like to know kung yung mga tao ba in this experiment, mag-iiba-iba sila ng estimate ng bilis ng mga kotse na nakita nila in the video depending on the words that they will use. Smash, collide, bump, hit, and contacted. And the answer to that question is yes, may difference. May epekto yung words na ginagamit nila sa kanilang memory of the estimate kung gaano kabilis yung mga kotse sa video. To be more specific, these were the average numbers. Para sa grupo na ginamitan ng word na smash, ibig sabihin malakas, mabilis yung estimate nila ng bilis ng kotse doon sa video. Average of 40.8 miles per hour. Tapos pababa ng pababa yan habang humihina yung word na ginagamit. Pag collided, 39.3. Pag bump, 38.1. Pag hit, 34.0. Pag contacted, 31.8. That's why based on this study, ang conclusion nila is one of the ways to create false memories to a person is you give them leading questions. Kapag yung questioning mo sa isang tao is a leading question, most likely, maaalala nila kung saan mo sila nililid. Like for example, going back, no, paano to naging leading question? How fast were the cars when they smashed into each other? Leading question yan kasi nilid mo na sila na nag-smash yung dalawang kotse. Nilid mo na sila na malakas yung banggaan nila. If you're gonna convert this to a more neutral question, paano mo dapat itatanong yan? Ang tanong dyan is, gaano kabilis yung mga kotse na nakita mo sa video? Yun yung mas neutral. Ibig sabihin, pag ganun yung tanong mo, hindi mo pa sila nililid na nagbanggaan yung kotse. Although alam mo naman na nakita nila na nagbanggaan yung kotse, pero hindi mo ginamit yung word na smash. Hindi mo sila nilid na mabilis yung takbo ng mga kotse, that's why they smash into each other. Got that? So a more neutral question would be, again, I repeat, gaano kabilis yung dalawang kotse na nakita mo sa video? Yon, hindi siya leading. Kapag ganun yung questioning mo, most likely yung number, yung bilis ng kotse na estimate nila would be more realistic. Pero ginamitan mo kasi ng word na smash, nilid mo sila sa idea na mabilis yung dalawang kotse. So it affected their estimate kung gaano kabilis yung dalawang kotse in the video. The same thing with collided, bumped, hit, contacted. Those simple words led to false memories. So again, ang conclusion nila, paano gumawa ng false memory? Leading questions. You ask a person na kinakausap mo, leading questions. Most likely, yung mga leading questions na yan, they will confirm it. Mapipilitan yung memory nila to remember something that did not really happen because you asked them leading questions. Ang tawag nga nila dyan in the literature is misinformation effect. Nangyayari daw yan when misleading information presented after an event is incorporated into an individual's memory for the event. So in this case, nasaan yung misleading information, yung mga ginagamit mong words, misleading, smashed, collided, bump, hit, contacted. Although sabihin natin, yung nakita nila sa video, isa lang dyan yung totoo. Let's say sabihin natin yung contacted lang. Yun yung totoo. So, baguhin mo yung totoo, baguhin mo yung contacted, gawin mong hit, gawin mong bump, collide, smash. Most likely, yun talaga yung maaalala nila. Anong tawag doon? Misinformation effect. Gamitin mo yan in our everyday language. Some examples of leading questions that you will use or you may use to someone. Yan. May nakita ka, 'di ba? Ano 'yon? Leading question 'yan. Kasi parang sure na sure ka na may nakita siya. Tinatanong mo na kaagad kung ano yung nakita niya. Leading question 'yan. So ang tendency nito, kahit wala naman talaga siyang nakita, yung memory niya magfo-form ng false memory. Kasi doon mo siya nililid sa idea na may nakita siya at sabihin niya kung ano yung nakita niya. Kahit sa totoo lang wala siyang nakita. It can create false memories. Or another example, sabihin mo, pumunta ka sa QC, di ba? Ano ginawa mo doon? Imbis na tanungin mo siya, saan ka pumunta? Yan, neutral yon. Ito, leading question. Meron ka na kaagad assumption na nagpunta siya sa QC at meron ka na kaagad assumption na may ginawa siya doon. Kasi tinatanong mo na kaagad kung ano ginawa niya doon eh. A more neutral question is, may ginawa ka ba doon? Di ba? Ito, anong ginawa mo doon? So, sure na sure ka na may ginawa siya doon. So, tendency, kahit hindi siya nagpunta ng QC, kahit wala naman siyang ginawa, magkikreate siya ng false memory para lang masatisfy yung leading question mo. Binigyan mo ng candy yung bata, di ba? Ilan? Oh, leading question na naman yan. A more neutral question would be, anong binigay mo sa bata? Or may binigay ka ba sa bata? Yon, pwede yon. Ito, leading ka agad to eh. Sure na sure ka na nagbigay siya ng candy. At tinatanong mo pa kung ilan. Does that make sense? So these kinds of questions, leading questions, mataas tendency, it will create false memory. Kaya ito, no, may simpleng technique na pwede nyong gamitin, pero I don't encourage. Okay? Sinasabi ko lang to for thought experiment. Alright? Pero kung susubukan nyo, edi gawin nyo, tapos sabihin nyo kung ano nangyari. Pero i-reveal nyo, i-debrief nyo naman na hindi totoo itong sinasabi nyo, experiment lang. Halimbawa, sabihin mo, may utang ka sa akin na 500, kailangan ko na, bigay mo na sa akin. Diba? If you're going to follow the idea of misinformation effect, this will create a false memory na talagang may utang siya sa'yo kahit wala naman talaga. Malay mo mag-work. Bigyan ka ng 500. Pero syempre, joke lang, hindi ko ini-encourage, but tinuro ko lang to further reinforce misinformation effect leading to false memory. Kaya nga naisip ko rin, hindi kaya ito yung technique na ginagamit ng budol psychology. Di ba, naririnig natin sa mga balita yan, no? Meron na lang lumapit sa kanya, quote-unquote na hypnotize daw siya, sinagot na lang daw niya yung mga tanong nung kausap niya na budol daw siya. The thing is, hindi kaya isa ito sa mga weapons ng mga budolero at budolera. Nagkikreate sila ng false memory so that they can get the things, the information that they want from their victims. Di ba? Posible. Kaya sinasabi ko nga, ang false memory, kapag ginamit niyan sa masama, it's a very powerful weapon. Okay? So again, huwag niyong gagawin to. Kasi ito kasalanan, panloloko yan. Okay? Pero this is just a good thought experiment to consider. Now, going back to that study, nagkaroon pa sila ng follow-up. So, balik tayo dito. Yan. We're still under this study. May follow-up question silang tinanong. Okay? Ang follow-up question is, was there a broken glass in the video that you have seen? Gusto nilang malaman kung i-confirm ba nila na may nakita silang broken glass. Now, kinumpara nila itong dalawang grupo na to, no? The smash group and the hit group. According to the results, mas maraming tao sa smash group ang nagsabi na meron silang broken glass na nakita kumpara sa grupo na ginamitan ng word na hit. Does that make sense? It makes sense kasi mas malakas talaga yung smash kumpara sa hit. So, logically speaking, saan kaya most likely may basag na salamin? E di syempre sa smash. Yung hit kasi mahina lang yan, most likely walang broken glass dyan. And true enough, when you use the word smash, there will be more people who will say na merong broken glass. Pero ito ang twist. Kahit sa totoo lang, if you replay the video that they have seen, wala talagang broken glass. Yan ang false memory. Ginamit mo lang yung word na smash. Tumaas na kaagad yung estimate nila sa bilis ng mga kotse, nakakita na kaagad sila ng isang bagay na hindi naman nag-exist, such as a broken glass. All because of just one word. O, meron pa silang follow-up na ginawa, no? All subjects na who saw the video regardless of which group. Regardless kung nasaan ka dito sa 5. Okay? Ito yung tinanong sa'yo. Did you see the broken headlight? Gusto nila i-compare yon kung ang tanong mo is, did you see a broken headlight? Guess what? Ano ang resulta? Saan mas marami nagsabi ng yes doon sa the broken headlight kumpara sa a broken headlight? Ano ang difference? The broken headlight, leading question. Sure na sure ka na may broken headlight. Ito, more neutral question, a broken headlight. See? Ganong word lang. D, gawin mong A, mag-generate yan ng false memory. At ito ang twist. The thing is, if you replay the video that they have seen, there was no broken headlight. Ganon kabilis ang tao makabuo ng false memory. Kaya nga, in summarizing all these studies by Loftus, no, we can form one memory principle. Most people would almost remember something if you lead them to remember something. Basta mag-paint ka lang ng picture sa utak nila at ipagpalagay mo with confidence na totoo yung pinaint mong picture sa utak nila, most likely maniniwala sila na totoo yung pinaint mong picture sa kanila. And all it takes is the way you ask it. Ibig sabihin may diin. Sure na sure ka na nangyari. Meron kang degree of certainty and confidence na talagang may utang siya sa'yo. May confidence ka na nagpunta siya ng Quezon City. Confident ka na nagbigay siya ng candy sa isang bata. Kahit hindi totoo, most likely, they're gonna confirm the picture, the scenario that you painted. Kasi madiin ka eh. Confident ka na talagang nangyari. Most likely, paniniwalaan nila yon. Or another way is word manipulation. As you saw in my presentation. 'Di ba? Yung simpleng palitin mo lang yung word, yung mga words na A, gawin mong the, gawin mong smash yung hit. It's enough to generate false memories. Another study, ito hindi na to si actually I'm not sure kung si Loftus pa ba to, i-research na lang no sa kung sino yung mga specific authors nito, but still under false memory, there were a group of teenagers in this study. In the experimenter, kinuntsaba nila yung mga parents nito. So while at home, itong mga teenagers na ito, kinuwentuhan sila ng mga parents nila of an event na hindi naman talaga nangyari. So yung mga parents nila were instructed to say a story, to tell them a story about their childhood. So yung mga parents nito, kinuwentuhan yung mga teenagers na to na once upon a time, nung mga bata pa sila, nawala sila sa mall. Tapos nag-insert na lang ng mga specific details yung mga parents. Kahit na hindi talaga totoo na nawala sa mall yung mga batang to. Okay? Now, fast forward when these teenagers went into the laboratory, tapos kinausap sila ng mga experimenters about their childhood, about their memories in their past. Guess what? More than half of them were certain, very sure, very confident, sigurado sila na talagang nangyari ito in their childhood. Kahit na again, sa totoo lang, hindi talaga nangyari. Napapaniwala sila ng parents nila na nangyari ang isang bagay na hindi naman talaga. So, teenagers are very vulnerable, to false memories. In another study, this time, ang mga participants nila, mga bata, children. So, ganun din, no? The experimenters, kinuntsaba yung mga parents. The parents were told na magsabi ng story sa mga bata about their childhood where they got lost in Disneyland. Siyempre, itong study na to sa sa US. So, hindi makaka-relate yung mga Pilipino dito kasi ang meron tayo, Star City. Diba? So, anyway, itong mga batang to, sinabihan sila ng mga parents nila, kinuwentuhan sila na dati nawala sila sa Disneyland at na-meet nila si Bugs Bunny while they were lost. Yun yung kwento. Nawala ka sa Disneyland, hindi ka namin makita, hinahanap mo rin kami, pero there was a time na nakita mo si Bugs Bunny and then nilapitan mo siya, doon ka namin nakita. Nung nilapitan mo si Bugs Bunny, something like that. Alright? Yun yung kwento. Now, when these children went to the laboratory and they were asked about their past, sigurado itong mga batang to na talagang totoo nga, nangyari nga. Na once upon a time na wala sila sa Disneyland at nakita nila si Bugs Bunny. Which we all know, I hope, we all know, no, na imposibleng nangyari yan. That's why it will confirm this is really false memory. Bakit imposibleng mangyari yan? Kasi si Bugs Bunny, imposibleng na sa Disneyland kasi batang Looney Tunes siya. Imposibleng mapunta sa Disneyland si Bugs Bunny. Kasi sa Disneyland, kampo yan nila Mickey Mouse. Kampo yan ni Minnie Mouse. So, imposibleng si Bugs Bunny nandun. Kaya this will really confirm na false memory yung sinasabi ng mga bata na nangyari talaga to. Got that? So, sabi nga ni Elizabeth Loftus, no, in summarizing all these studies, just because someone thinks they remember something in detail with confidence and with emotion does not mean that it actually happened. False memories have these characteristics too. Diba? Kaya again, ang false memory nakakatakot yan. Lalong-lalo na kapag ang pinag-uusapan, for example, is justice. Kaya issue to sa cognitive psychology eh. Lalo na sa mga hearing, kapag may krimen na nangyari, may tinatawag na eyewitness. At yung eyewitness na yon, nagbigay ng eyewitness testimony. As we know, kapag sinabi mong testimony, ang foundation yan, memory. Yung testimony niya, base sa naalala niya. Sure ako, ito yung kumidnap sa bata. Sure ako, pumasok yan sa bahay ng pinatay. Sure ako, ito yung taong nagnakaw ng Louis Vuitton na bag. Di ba? Now, knowing the existence of false memory, ang issue ngayon dito sa cognitive level is, how sure are we na yung sinasabi ng isang quote-unquote eyewitness is totoo and accurate? E paano kung yung sinasabi niyang naalala niyang nakita niya is just a product of false memory? Should we trust what someone remembers? And in the past, ang dami na nating mga examples na tao na nabiktima ng false memory ng isang eyewitness. Kaya isa yan sa mga advocacy ni going back ni Elizabeth Loftus. Yung research area niya is false memory in the context of eyewitness testimony. How sure are we na yung mga pinagsasabi ng mga eyewitness testimony totoo? Kasi kapag yan hindi totoo, kapag nagbigay sila ng kanilang testimony tapos hindi pala totoo, it can spell trouble for people who are being accused. Ibig sabihin may tendency na baka akusahan ka na hindi naman dapat. And in history, ang daming beses na nangyari yan. You can just read this website. Type nyo lang yung title, 10 people who were wrongfully convicted and set free years later after being exonerated. Wala na, nakulong na eh. Kinuhanan mo na sila ng years. Inosente naman talaga sila, pero kinulong mo. Bakit? Yun yung sinabi ng eyewitness testimony eh. Ang hindi alam ng korte, yung testimony ng eyewitness, false memory pala. And the numbers are really big ha. If you do the research, ito, US data to. Wala akong Philippine data, my apologies. But based on the US data, an estimate of 27,200 cases ang total ng mga taong kinulong na hindi naman dapat. Bakit sila nakulong? Tinuro sila ng isang eyewitness. Na, again, yung eyewitness na yon ang binigay pala nila, false memory. Ang dami yan 27,200. Paano dyan kung yung iba dyan, dinet penalty mo? Kuwawa naman. Karamihan dyan, kinuhanan mo ng valuable time. Nakulong sila ng 5 years, ng 10 years, na hindi naman pala dapat. Simply because sinabi ng eyewitness testimony na guilty sila. Na hindi naman talaga dapat. False memory, yung pinanggalingan ng mga nagturo sa kanila. Diba? Kaya I hope you can see the risk factor, the danger kapag ang tao tinatamaan ng false memory. No? Like for example, going to this framework. Ito yung magandang framework na dapat nasusunod in our psychological life. Yung mga behaviors natin dapat based sa truth, based sa totoo. Hindi dapat tayo biktima ng false memory. Because when we base our behaviors on the truth, dyan gumaganda yung mental health natin. And one basis of the truth, saan ba natin nahanapin yung truth? Mga bagay na totoo is from God's Word. So when you base your behaviors on God's Word, hindi ka biktima ng false memory because this is the truth. There's nothing false here. Ano nangyayari? Gumaganda yung behavior mo, which leads to better mental health. Right? Dahil nagbabasa ka ng Bible, yung belief system mo is the truth, not false memory, gumagawa ka ng mga tamang behaviors. Sinusunod mo yung parents mo, hindi ka nagkakaroon ng bisyo, lagi kang tumutulong sa iba, nag-aaral ka ng mabuti, you say no to premarital sex, you always go to church. Ano nangyayari? Nagiging maganda yung mental health mo. We have hundreds of studies that support that all this leads to good mental health. Tanong, bakit mo ginagawa to? Kasi yung memory mo of what's the truth, tama, accurate. Dito na ngayon papasok yung danger ng false memory. Again, ito yung framework natin. Truth leads to correct behavior. Palitan mo ng truth o palitan mo yung truth ng false memory, now you are compromising the mental health of a person. Kapag yung naaalala mong mga bagay, mga false, akala mo tama pero sa totoo mali, yun. Doon ka na ngayon gagawa ng risky behaviors, dyan na ngayon nagsisimula yung mga unhealthy emotions. I-connect mo yung sa Proverbs, there is a way that seems right to a man. Ito yun, seems right. May mga naalala ko, ito yung mga prinsipyo sa buhay na tama. Wala akong maalala na mali ito. Talagang sureball akong tamang-tama ito. Pero sa totoo lang mali. Ano nangyayari? Leads to death. Convert that to psychological language, risky behaviors, unhealthy emotions such as the following. Yun. Nagkakaroon ka na ng anxiety, depression, stress, low moral reasoning, so on and so forth. Ang tanong, ano yung false memory na naalala mo, kaya mo to ginagawa or kaya mo to na-experience? The most destructive false memory I think there is the false memory that there is no God. Or convert that in psychological language, mababa ang spirituality mo. Diba? May mga ganyang tao eh. Looking back in their life, they don't remember the presence of God. So they conclude that there's no God. Kahit sa totoo lang, kung magiging realistic lang sila, kung magiging tama lang yung recollection nila in their past, there are many times that they encountered God. But because they were victimized by false memory, they conclude there's no God, which is one of the most dangerous memory to have. Yung maalala mo na walang Diyos, hindi mo maalala yung presence ng Diyos sa buhay mo, it leads to the following behaviors. Ang tanong, sinong nagre-reinforce ng ganyang memory that there's no God? It does not make sense to believe in God. Certain influencers, marami yan sa YouTube, marami yan sa Facebook, pinopromote na walang Diyos, corny ang maniwala sa Diyos. In a more intellectual level, sa academe, merong mga false documents na lumalabas to prove that there's no God, hindi totoo ang Bible, wala raw talagang Israelites, hindi raw totoo si King David, hindi raw totoo yung Exodus ng mga Israelites. And of course, in our society in general, demonizing God beliefs. Kapag ikaw naniniwala ka sa Diyos, naniniwala ka sa values of the Bible, i-demonize ka. Close-minded ka, ancient yung thinking mo, alive ka, yan. So, i-combine mo yung mga efforts na yan, it will create a collective false memory. Collective macro level false memory that there's no God. One example of this, yung magre-reinforce ng collective memory na there's no God would be ito. Si most popular atheist in the world, si Richard Dawkins, magsusulat siya ng libro, ang title, The God Delusion, tapos ganito yung mga ideas niya about God. Lagi niya sinasabi, there's no God, it does not make sense to believe in God, yung mga naniniwala sa Diyos, yung mga mahihina yan, fantasies, naniniwala sa fairies, so on and so forth. And many more like him. Sila yung majority na nagpo-promote ng idea na there's no God. So, ang mangyayari ngayon yan, it will create the collective memory that there's no God. In general, bababa ang spirituality ng mga tao. And when that happens, going back to that framework, halos lahat ng Pilipino naniwala na dyan, yan na yung naalala nila that there's no God, boom. It leads to this negative outcome. Nagigets nyo? Kasi habang pinapababa mo yung spirituality, lumalagpak ang mental health. Paano bumababa yung spirituality? Gumagawa ng false memory, etong mga to, ayan, na walang Diyos. So when people internalize that framework, i-apply nila yan in their personal lives. When they look back in their own lives, they will forget that there's God. They will forget encounters they had with God. They will forget the very clear evidences sa buhay nila that God is present. Malilimutan lahat nila yon. Kasi nga, natabunan na ng false memory na itinanim sa atin ng mundo. And by the way, for those of you dyan na nakataas ang kilay, na pag bumababa ang spirituality, lumalagpak ang mental health, ang dami natin mga researches dyan. This is one good article to read. You can download. Let me read one excerpt from this article. Ang sabi, there was a significant negative correlation between students' spiritual health and their high-risk behaviors. Ibig sabihin, pag lumalagpak ang spirituality ng mga estudyante, lumalayo sila sa idea ng Diyos kasi hindi na sila naniniwala sa Diyos, nalilimutan na nila yung mga kabutihan ng Diyos sa kanila. Ano nangyayari? Lumalagpak ang mental health. They are more likely to do high-risk behaviors. Suicide, addiction, premarital sex, drunk driving. Bakit nila ginagawa yon? At the back of their minds, wala naman talagang Diyos. So I will live my life the way I want to live. Yon. Kaya delikado talaga yung collective false memory na yan. It leads people, a society, towards behaviors that destroy mental health. Actually, yung ganyang pattern, no, hindi na bago to eh. In the Bible nangyari na yan. If you rewind, if you recall certain instances in the Bible, nangyari na sa Israelites yan. Diba? Yun yung reason bakit ko binasa yung Judges. Sabi dito, after that, whole generation had also been gathered to their fathers. Ano nangyari? Nung lumipas na yung nakaraang generation, ito yung generation na nakakakilala sa Diyos. Ito yung generation na alalang-alala yung presence of the Lord. Hindi sila biktima ng false memory. Yung next generation, sabi dito, another generation rose up who did not know the Lord or the works that He had done for Israel, nalimutan nila. Ito yung mga taong wala silang maalala tungkol kay Lord kahit meron naman talaga silang dapat maalala tungkol kay Lord. The parting of the Red Sea, nung binantayan sila ng pillar of clouds at ng pillar of fire, manna from heaven, nung nagugutom sila, many times na may natalo silang mga grupo na mas malakas sa kanila because the Lord empowered them, nalimutan nilang lahat yun. Yung memory na meron sila is God does not exist in their life. Ito yung form ng false memory na sinabi ko kanina. Naaalala mo na walang nangyari pero may nangyari talaga. Now, collectively, ang Israelites, ganyan. Biktima ng false memory. At ang masakit dyan, merong consequence yung false memory na yan in their psychological life. Yun na yung isa pang verse na binasa natin. The consequence of false memory. Ang sabi, but you have forgotten the Lord, your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth. Yung word dito na forgotten, ito na yung false memory. Wala silang maaalala kahit na dapat meron silang maalala. Anong epekto sa kanila? Nakalagay dyan, you live in terror all day long because of the fury of the oppressor who is bent on destruction. Dahil wala silang maalala na greatness ni Lord, that brought them terror. Got that? I-translate mo yan in the psychological language, mababa ang spirituality nila, tumaas yung kanilang neuroticism. You live in terror, which is not good for mental health. Kaya kung gagawin mo tong conceptual framework, it looks something like this. Meron silang false memory that there's no God. Hindi nila maalala yung greatness ni Lord kahit ang dami-dami, ang negative effect nun sa psychological life nila, they live in terror. Kaya hindi magaganda ang mental health ng mga Israelites during this time. Anong explanation bakit hindi maganda ang mental health nila? They have forgotten the works of the Lord. They are victims of the false memory. They cannot remember things that they should remember. Got that? And actually, kung balikan natin tong framework na to, huwag niyong sabihin na, nung Old Testament times yan hindi na nangyayari ngayon yan. I beg to disagree. Kasi hanggang ngayon, this is very clear that this framework is still true. Many young people today, ganito ang framework. Many young people today, ito ang norm. Hindi naniniwala kay Lord, hindi nila maalala yung greatness of the Lord in their everyday life. Ang naalala nila ay yung mga moments that reinforce the idea that there's no God. Kasi yan yung uso. Kasi yan yung pinopromote ng mga influencers. Right? Like for example, ito, we have data for this. I think this is an indication na bumababa ang spirituality ng mga Pilipino. Although spirituality and religiosity are different. Totoo naman yun sa literature, but religiosity is an expression of spirituality. The fact na marami mga Pilipino ngayon, hindi na masyado nagpupunta sa simbahan, marami mga Pilipino ngayon, ganito na ang attitude about issues of faith. Spiritual issues, pababa ng pababa ang mga naniniwala sa spiritual world. Sa importance of spiritual life, it's an indication na talagang maraming mga Pilipino biktima ng false memory. And the consequence is, boom. Now, don't get me wrong, hindi ko ino-oversimplify yung problema ng mental health. Maraming predictors yan. You know? But in this framework, I am zooming in the predictor of low spirituality that leads to poor mental health. Kaya maraming mga kabataan ngayon, matataas ang mental health concerns. Bakit? Mababa ang level of spirituality. They cannot remember the greatness of God. They cannot remember the moments that God is with them. Nako-cover up ng idea, ng memory na walang Diyos, corny ang Diyos, hindi dapat naniniwala sa Diyos. Because everything must be based on science. Kaya hindi ako agree talaga sa framework ng scientism. Na kung wala sa data, kung hindi sinasabi sa journal article, hindi totoo. Yun. O baka naman may mga nakataas na naman na kilay dyan. Paano mo nalaman na itong numbers na to connected sa numbers na ito? We have some support here. Wala na lang tayo enough time to discuss it, but for those of you who would like to know kung anong basis ko in connecting this to this one. Basahin nyo tong review done by Harold Koenig, one of the gods ng religion, spirituality, and mental health. No, na sinasabi niya na kapag ang tao mataas ang spirituality, naaalala ang mga godly moments, nakakaalala ng mga godly encounters, maganda mental health. Let me quote one part of this article. Sabi, in general, studies of subjects in different settings, kahit anong settings pa yan, medical, psychiatric, general population, kahit pa different ethnic backgrounds, kahit pa anong age group yan, kahit nasaan pa man yan, Western man or Asian or Europe, anong nakita nila? Religious involvement is related to better coping with stress and less depression, suicide, anxiety, and substance abuse. Again, you can just read this article and see for yourself. Kaya delikado talaga na patuloy nating itolerate, patuloy nating hayaan na lang yung nangingibabaw, yung false memory that there's no God, that we don't need God, that belief in God does not make sense. It's affecting negatively the mental health of our society. Kaya nga ang panglaban sa false memory, as I close this lecture, is we really to take steps as a society to remember God. Diba? Yan yung sinasabi sa Deuteronomy 6:7 eh. Paulit-ulit nating ituro sa mga tao the reality that there is God who is involved in our life. That there is a loving God who would like to have a relationship with us. Paulit-ulit yung ituro yan. Ang kulit-kulit, sabi you shall teach them diligently to your children and speak of them kailan? Makulit. You sit at home, when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you get up, paulit-ulit. Ano ang psychological reason nito? Bakit pa ulit-ulit? Para matanggal yung false memory. Yan talaga panlaban sa false memory. Para hindi ka magkaroon ng false memory, ulit-ulitin mo yung truth. Ulit-ulitin mo yung tama. And in a more practical step, paano ginagawa yan? Paano natin dapat ulit-ulitin yan sa mga young people ngayon? Ganyan dapat. Gawin nating kultura or gawin nating culture yung pag-reinforce ng reality that there's God. Bible study, everyday prayer, fellowship, worship songs, i-promote natin yung pagpunta sa mga spiritual events such as going to church, meditation, paulit-ulit dapat ginagawa ng mga kabataan yan. Again, I'm sure marami na naman nakataas ang kilay dyan, kausapin nyo na lang si Harold Koenig if you want to disagree. Pero again, his data, his research is so strong in promoting religious activities like this if we want mental health to be better. So yan ang role ng false memory sa pagsira ng mental health ng tao At pinakita ko rin how we can fight false memory para naman mag-improve yung mental health ng mga tao. Alright? So, yun lang yung maikli nating lecture, quote-unquote maikli. Naka 45 minutes tayo on false memory. Sana marami kayong natutunan. If you have any questions, reactions, or suggestion na topics for the next lecture, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section. Alright? Sir Howard here. Until next time, God bless everyone. Bye-bye.